let's dive into a deal. I know one of the things that we always get feedback on is like, how can we do more deal structuring? So we're gonna dive into a deal that Mike has. Look, me and Mike were talking backstage, and we're like, this is a good deal, but it's not like it's a six-figure deal, because certainly we could have sat here on stage, you could have pulled up Russell's latest deal, or we could start cherry picking and just say all of our deals are six figures. But in all reality, that's not the case. So what we want to do is we want to go through a basic real estate deal that Mike had, and Mike's got a bunch of them. Mike, tell us about what's your average 3 paydays and what you have going on.
Yeah, I think the average 3 now is, I would say, is probably around the 85,000 mark on the deals. Majority of mine have already cashed all the way out through all my payday 3s, so I've gotten all the money collected already. So it's not just payday 1s.
So you're telling me that these deals actually do come to payday 3s?
Yeah.
I know that's a question everyone's asking.
They do.
These buyers actually cash you out?
Yeah.
So weird. Awesome. All right. So what's your total 3 paydays as far as like your business?
Right now, right about $500,000, 500,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Congrats.
Thank
okay,
you.
Let's dive into this real estate deal, and then we'll take questions from the crowd specific to this deal as well. We're gonna hone in for like 15, 20 minutes on a deal, and we'll beat it up a bit. Okay. Yep. So tell us, Mike, what was the lead source?
This was an expired lead.
Expired listing. What's the type of deal?
Sandwich lease.
Sandwich
lease. This specific deal here, the seller was an elderly woman who lived 3 hours from the property. It was a rental she had for several years. She was renting it out to college students. The university was pretty close to this property. But surprisingly, it wasn't in bad shape at all. Thinking that she had, it was a 5-bedroom home, and you can imagine, students, college, partying in there and doing all that, tearing the place up. But it was actually in really good shape. So, great home. It was a 5-bedroom, and what really stood out and sold and really moved this property was it was a 5-bedroom home at a $400,000 price point, which you didn't find much of in that area. So.
And what area is this, Mike?
It's in Merced, California. So Central Valley area.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Central Valley. So. Yeah. California. We've seen a bunch of deals in California, and I know that everybody I always talk to, I was like, well, you can't do terms deals in California. Yeah. It's impossible. It's a hot market. All right. Purchase price.
Purchase price was $380,000.
Okay, $380,000.
She had it on the market at $400,000. She couldn't sell it. I used a strategy of how I was going to get her. Well, she basically, market was speaking in some way. I don't know if it was the agent's fault or what at the time, on why she couldn't sell it, but they were just taking their time, and she wanted to not have to stroke that payment every month, of course, being on a tight budget, on a monthly budget. So I told her I would take over the payments by a definitive date. That way she was assured that she didn't have to cover that anymore. Because it was vacant.
Because this is important. Because with our agreements, there's a contingency built in.
Yes.
We learned about that earlier, how you get first month's rent, how you can wait, market the property. But there are some deals that you say, look, it's a good deal. Or seller says, that's important to me. So now you need to make a decision as an investor and say, is this deal worth committing to the deal?
Yeah, this wasn't my first deal. If it was my first deal, I probably wouldn't have taken that approach. But I was very confident, very knowledgeable. I knew the area very well, so I took the chance on putting on the market with the definitive takeover date, which I think it was like 30 days just of marketing, and then taking over after 30 days.
What's the mortgage?
So the mortgage was right at $1,974 was her payment, PITI. And let me backtrack 1 second. This is an important piece.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this seller didn't have a computer, didn't have email. She lived 3 hours from me. And I'm like thinking in my head, how am I going to get these documents signed and get this property under contract? She was okay with going forward with it, but it was going to be a difficult task, right, to get everything done. So she wanted to make sure that I was not a fluke. So I wrote up on a letterhead my offer. I mailed it old school in the mail, snail mail. She received my offer in the mail, and she called me when she got it, and she says, okay, let's go ahead and go forward with it. So I had a notary meet her at, a mobile notary meet her at her house, and I sent the notary the documents to print out and take over to the property and have her sign, and the notary mailed me the copies back. So it was a little mission to get it's, DocuSign we can get done
Committed
in
to
a
the
second,
deal.
right? But it was worth it, right? I went the extra mile to get this thing signed, and definitely, you'll see in the end, it was worth it.
Yeah, would you guys say that Mike was committed or interested on this deal, huh? Yeah, very committed.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, so did you have the mortgage balance available as well?
Yes, mortgage balance was at 304.
304, okay. So you got $76K that you owe the seller.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, what's the term of this deal?
It was a 48-month term.
Okay, 48 months.
But side note on that, my buyer cashed out in 24, so we're going to do numbers off the 24, so you can see what I actually took home.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is important, just as we're running through these nuances. You got a 48-month term with your buyer, with your seller. So you sold it to your buyer for 24 months, though.
Yes.
So that way you had plenty of buffer time.
Yes.
Mr. Conservative. So any of you that are immersion members and are working with Mike, he's extremely conservative, knows his numbers. So if you're risk averse, immersion is a perfect level for you. Love it. All right. So what'd you end up selling it for?
409,900.
Did you talk with Nick about this? Because I feel as though Nick might have had something else to say.
At the time, that was actually, it was
that was the
above, yeah, it was pushing it at that time. I even didn't want to give her the 380, but I felt like, let's just get this deal done. It's going to end up being good, so.
What deal number was this for you?
I think it was number 5, I think.
Number 5?
Around there, yeah.
What's the monthly payment to your buyer?
Monthly payment to the buyer is $23.95.
Tell us a little bit about this buyer. Where'd you find what
yeah.
they do, why they need our help?
This buyer was moving from the Bay Area. As most of you may know, I don't know, Bay Area prices are through the roof. So they sold their home in the Bay Area, took the equity, and actually, backtrack on that. They couldn't sell their home. They were waiting forever. They needed to move out of the property because they co-owned that house with like another family member. So they needed to move out, fix a few things, and put it on the market. In the meantime, they needed a place to stay. So they felt that our program was the best program to get into. That way they could rent for a little while, and then once they got their cash from the home that they had, they could pay off the remaining balance of the property. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. All right. So payday number 1. What's a non-refundable deposit?
$25,000 I took down.
Did you collect that all up front?
Up front.
Nice. Okay. What's the spread?
Monthly spread.
So your payday 2.
Was, why am I not seeing it here? Yeah, 421 was the monthly cash flow.
Oh, so you tell me you don't have your cents dialed in, like
I don't have the sense.
like
no.
Steve? He's overcompensating.
But these are actual numbers here because this is what I collected here. Total 24 months, right?
Yep.
We're doing 10,104 on the spread.
All right, and your payday 3. What's your principal pay down?
Principal pay down was 393.
Times 24.
9,432.
Is there any premium left on the back?
There was, yeah. So we had, what is that? 10,000. I didn't do it right.
Come on, Mike.
I did it right, but the way you're asking me is a
Chris
little different.
he was like, Mike's got this dialed in, he knows his numbers. We should have Mike come on later in the day because there'll be no questions.
Okay, the premium was $29,900, right? We
Yep.
took 25, so
Yep.
the difference there is $4,900. So
All right, just give us a total, Mike.
let me just give you the total. Yeah, we had first month's rent as well that I did collect actually on this one.
Yeah.
So total that I received in the end was $51,159. I got these buyers pretty quick, guys, so I was able to capture quite a bit in the beginning.
So even though you committed, you ended up putting him in the property without making any payments too?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
this guy's fast.
No, she was a little slow on getting things back to me, but I put things on the market because I knew it was signed from the notary, got ahead of it, got applications right away. I got actually some people with larger down payments, but their actual financial position wasn't as good as these buyers.
Yeah.
So I took these buyers with the 25, which was a lower payday one. But in the end, I knew it was going to get to the finish line. So, and that's what I wanted to happen, right? So I can capture the whole thing. Yeah.
So I told you guys, immersion, Mr. Conservative.
Yeah.
All right, let's take some questions. We got a couple minutes. We got a mic. Mike.
He's right there.
Hi. Oh, you didn't have to run. Hey, Brian.
Press the,
In order for it to work, you have to say good things about us.
There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm curious about the buyer side. So you said that you could have got a higher payday one, but you chose to go with the lower payday one. Can you dive in a little bit more about the buyers and why you went that route?
Yeah, we actually haven't talked too much about the buyer side, right? So typically banks like your cash flow, right? They like the money that's coming in on a monthly basis more than the down, right? Because if you can't support the payment going forward, then that's obviously you can't afford the mortgage. So that's the way I was looking at it. I knew these people were a lot stronger of a buyer because of their income, their monthly income, and their employment history compared to the other potential buyer that put their application in. I think he had closer to 40,000 down, but it was a light tighter of a fit as far as the affordability goes with the debt to income and all that. So I felt like it was almost like a home run with the other ones because I'll take the risk of not getting an extra 10 or 15,000 with these stronger buyers, right? I had a 4-year deal. If it didn't work out, I'll just resell it and put someone else in there and pivot, right?
I like that. Super conservative because when we look at risk averse, it's as long as you get your monthly payment in consistently, then if you have two people that are bringing income to the table, it's just if anything happens with somebody's job, you just know the monthly payment's coming in. There's been too many times that we've taken people that aren't as qualified at a high DTI, and then all of a sudden you get a property you're supporting while you're kicking them out of the property.
On top of that, they had the house that was selling in the Bay Area, so I knew cash was coming.
You said this was a sandwich lease, correct?
Yes.
So it wasn't so much about the purchase price. You locked in the equity. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the 76,000.
76, correct.
Okay. On your down payment one, did any of that go to the seller, or was that all?
No, that was all mine.
Okay.
Yeah, that was all mine.
Don't worry, PD Maxes will figure it out. You'll figure it out. Good job, Steph.
Curious about the $500,000 that you boasted about. How many years? How many years?
Mike boasted. I love it. This is
How
good.
many years have you been in this?
About 4.5.
You've been in it 4.5, and minus the 51, that means you made $450 on the other 4. So that's well over $100,000.
Yeah, it's around there. Sorry, off the top of my head. You're holding me to the details here. It's probably around that 75, 85, right around there, the average. I haven't really calculated my average.
Well, and you just got a payday 3 that was what, over 100K?
Over 100K, yeah. So
tends to boost your averages
so
when
I
you
don't
stay
know
in the
how
game
that
longer.
increased my average, that 100K. Yeah, that helped.
Yeah. Mr. Humble, you love it? Yeah, just 100K, it's fine. Go ahead, Mike. Mike.
Hi,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
What type of vetting does the seller do on you as the person they're dealing with? To know that you have the financial wherewithal, or you'll find the buyer that has the wherewithal to continue making the mortgage payments?
Well, we kind of go, it's the way you position yourself on the call, right? I mean, we have an A+ rating in the Better Business Bureau. We've been doing this for several years. We have associates across the country. They're doing deals with us. We do, 7 to 15 of these a month as a community. And we have a great experience in the creative financing world, right? And creative terms world. A lot of times I say if they can't sleep at night, and because I get some questions that, can we see your financials? Can we see, that you can, make this payment? And I just tell them straight up, we don't show that. We don't provide that to anyone. And if this is something that's going to keep you up at night, then this might not be a right fit for you. Yeah, and just pull back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.
For those of you too that have gone through the QLS Home Study course, we're the only company that provides a certification in creative financing with SFRIA, Creative Financing Real Estate Association.
Yes.
So you can put that on your website. And those that are associates are credited. They're considered accredited. Those that just have gone through QLS are considered certified. So you can add that to your credentials. But yeah, we always say we're a private company. We don't show our financials. We're here to. We're not the ones that are actually going to be buying the property unless it's a sub-2 owner financing. And if it is, then you're going to be able to live at night. We did a $1 million property, owner financing, 10 grand down. And the lady never looked at our credit. It took us about 6 months to do it, but never looked at our credit. We've done, you saw the numbers that we showed you, over $100 million in these transactions. Not a single one of them have they ever checked me, Chris's, Nick's, Sue's credit score, Colleen's credit score. No, they just don't do it. And we don't personally guarantee any debt. That's what creative financing is about. Any other questions for Mike?
Yeah, thanks. I saw a lot of the deals here, and yours too, when we're talking about the monthly payment.
Mm-hmm.
Is it normally just that you agree to do the PITI and no more than that? And then you come up with fair market rent, and then you get somebody in and you got the spread? And my question to you is that the case here? And then what if the person you're buying from asks you for fair market rent, and how do you deal with that?
Well, in a perfect scenario like this one, yes, you would just take over the PITI. It would be within the range of the market rent, and you can make a spread, right? If they want to capture that spread, you kind of have to explain to them more in detail of what your model is and how you make money. And if you're more transparent about that, if you really want to look at what the end goal is for them, what they're really looking to get out of the property. Is it that monthly spread? Is that what they want, or is it the overall price? Like, what's their number one priority on getting the value out of their property? And then you kind of hit that. Well, if you want the overall price, this monthly rent, this spread we make is more like a management fee for us staying on top of it every month, making sure the buyer is going to succeed and get to the finish line. That way you get the price that you're looking for, and maximizing the value in your property. So
It's like he's done this before. We'll save some of these too for Stump the Coaches, because then we'll get everyone fired up. It's really I'd say most, it's like 90% rule that you don't pay more than the expenses on the property, and you're going to be able to cash flow this. And if it's important to the seller to get a lot of cash flow, then you have other options. But I would always start no money down, no additional cash flow.